Man, yeah. Glad y'all can join us.
We are glad to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Ah, yeah, great. Now, the reason why I brought you guys to this location, right, is simply because we want to work on the minds of the people, right? And I know you all are masters in what you do, right? And have extensive knowledge in the subjects, especially dealing with the mind. There's a lot going on around the globe, right? We got COVID, we got natural disasters, we got so many things that's taking place and that's happening, right? But the people don't understand the power that they have internally, the power of the mind. They don't know that you can actually think things into existence. So they're being ran as sheeple, right? So what we want to do today, right, is we want to get rid of that fear energy and kind of give them some type of instructions or some type of dialogue that they can feed from and free themselves, right? So before we get started, I wrote something I want to read to you guys, right? We can answer that and might put it together, right? And it states, knowledge is power. Scholars understood that, historians knew it. Philosophers knows it. If you had a dam that needed to be fixed or else it would flood a whole town, the issue is fix the dam. You're not going to say, well, since that idea came from a person of color, we can't fix the dam. Life experience and issue supersedes color because the broken dam has no color. So today we want to get into the beauty of just existing on the earth in the present time and see if we can patch the dam with knowledge and understanding. At one point, black and white were kidnapped and used to work in tobacco fields in Virginia until the aristocrats said, hey, let's divide and conquer them using a system of mind control, and that system still is being used today. We know that the mind is powerful. As we think, so are we, and as above, so below. So, Jared, how can we defeat that fear energy that's been placed among us, and so the aristocrats can sit back in their fat chairs and live off of our blood, sweat, and tears?
That's a very good question, and that is the question of the ages. And what has happened to humanity is they've been tricked and played against themselves. Because this isn't a race thing, this isn't a black thing, white thing. This is a rich versus poor thing, okay? And it goes even deeper than that. What humanity is born into, they're born into slavery. And this slavery is fear. Each one of us is born into fear. We inherit our parents' fears. Human beings are a monkey see, monkey do species, and fear is the quickest, easiest thing to mimic. Because guess what? We don't want to die.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even crows show this. Science shows that crows study death. When they find one of their own dead, they gather around it and try to learn from it and do the exact opposite. And you see this in nature. And human beings, being a cognitive, aware species that can contemplate its own life and death, its own existence, and its own creator, has had manipulation used against it in the form of religion. Because that's the first ultimate lie. That's the first original sin, is that you're going to be judged in an afterlife. Right. And humanity has had this used against them. And there is an ancient right that has been unleashed on humanity, and I call it the right of the oracle and the architect. Okay, the oracle is religion, is the prophet, is the one emissary to God. And the architect is government. The architect constructs your life, constructs your mind, constructs your will. And together, the oracle and the architect worked hand in hand to control man's mind and control man's life. They keep you so busy and in fear, you have no time to contemplate your own true existence and go within. Right. This whole time, they have you chasing outer space. Let's go to outer space, because they want to keep you away from inner space, right, where the true power is.
is within.
Yes.
Now, how do one tap into that inner self, that inner power that we actually born in, or how do you create that third eye, that eye of Ra, that pineal gland, or that inner self? Because we're so like robots in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, how do we shake that off of us?
That's what humanity is. They're biological robots becoming sentient of themselves, becoming aware, because you can only truly be sentient once you are empathic. Empathy is the connection to all living things, and you're not aware unless you are connected.
Now, what is empathy?
Empathy, would you like to describe it? She can describe it better.
Well, I'd like to jump in if I may,
Yeah.
because you asked about, like, how do you tap into your inner self? And I feel like a lot of who we are, we don't even know what makes us us.
Right.
And people don't stop to consider, how did I get to be who I am?
Right.
And if we reverse engineer ourselves back to birth, like Jared was saying, you are what your parents told you. You think how society has programmed you, how religion, culture, our friends, even education, we go to school.
Repeating information.
And it's repeating information, and we've been programmed since childhood to think, act, feel, believe in certain ways, to where most of us is not even the true us. And so in order to tap into your inner self, you have to be willing to shed these layers of the onion that have been given to you by something that's not you, and to figure out where the actual you is.
Right.
And it's so hard.
Now, and that's a fact, but this is the problem. Right? Sometimes it's peer pressure and being afraid to be different, because when you tap into yourself and you have knowledge of who you are, you start doing things a little bit different than the crowd.
Yes.
So how do you get that inner strength to where you can be like, look, I'm gonna be me, and I don't care what people think about me, and not be forced to be condemned by your peers?
May I?
Yeah, please.
Well, we actually believe there's like a 3-step process to this, and we call it awareness, understanding, evolution. And the first step of this process that you're describing is just to become aware that you've been programmed. And once you're aware that, hey, there may be a part of me that's actually not my true self, or I may be living through a false facade or a society-constructed ego, then you can start to understand how you became that way and understand yourself. And it's not until you arrive at the understanding that you can actually change.
Right.
So really awareness is the first step, and that's a large part of what we're trying to do here, is spread awareness.
And you can't lie to yourself, because people are aware of this, but they'll just push it off.
Right.
It takes serious soul work to actually change and wake up, because if this was easy, everyone would be awake.
Correct, because you might upset your parents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that'd be the most,
your
the
friends.
pastor, and that's the most.
Culture.
Yeah, and people are like, ooh, and they can't handle it, but they don't understand. You step closer to your freedom.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ultimate freedom.
Now let me ask you this, because a lot of people go through this scenario to where they're afraid that, well, now that I'm aware and I know who I am, and I'm acting like that, then I'm separated from the group mentality. Now, does the ones who want to keep you in mental, physical, and even energy bondage, can they tell that, okay, these have awakened, they know who they are? Do you become a threat to the power structure once you become free and knowledgeable of who you are?
Can I answer this?
Yeah, please.
I see humanity and its consciousness and its society, all the way down to its individual personality, being governed by, what do I want to call it? Celestial conscious energy, okay? Like as we left the age of Pisces, we're familiar with the Western zodiac. All right, these ancient people didn't just have this for no reason. They understood the microcosm, macrocosm, the inner-outer connection, and the reflection of nature itself. It is all connected. It's a mirror inversion image of each other that repeats itself in a similar pattern. And as the conscious, or the celestial conscious energy shifts from the age of Pisces into Aquarius, you're going to see it reflected in the individuals that are here on Earth. And it's going to reflect in this way. The old age of Pisces rewarded people with deception, control, and fear. You can see it with the fish. Two fishes swim in opposite direction. This signifies the magician's trick. Hey, look over here, but really, I'm doing something over here. It's a big magical distraction.
Right.
Reality TV's fake. You don't even own your home in this. The bank owns it. Everything is an illusion here in the old age of Pisces. And since like the 1960s, the age of Aquarius came. Aquarius is symbolized by a man pouring out a pitcher of water.
Right.
Again, this is a deception of the old age of Pisces because it's a woman, a pregnant woman giving birth, dropping water. What happens when you pour water on something dirty? Makes it clean and new again.
Right.
Science has proved water holds information. All right? And that's what's being poured out on the world to make it clean and new again, is information and disclosure. And right now it looks a lot like chaos, but disclosure looks like chaos to the untrained eye. And that's what we're hitting right now. And this is the celestial conscious shift, and we're seeing it reflected in the individual as well. It's going to change society, and there's nothing you can do. It just is.
And the way that it's going to change society is that people, like Jared said, who are living through their true authentic self and walking the path of self-actualization will be rewarded for it. Will be rewarded for their bravery, for their courage, because this is the age of truth, freedom, and love, and we're shifting out of the age of deception, control, and fear. Whereas in the old world, people were rewarded for living a lie, for being controlling, for being fearful, because that was the celestial energy that was being projected onto our realm. As that's shifting, the people that are rewarded will also be shifting as the energies are shifting.
She brought up a great point that I totally missed, and that's money is a natural tool here in reality to help with creation. And there was massive wealth gained through deceptive, controlling, and fearful means. And it was kept that way. But no longer. These people that try to keep this wealth that way, they're going to lose it all, because the new paradigm of the age of Aquarius is truth, freedom, and love. If you can live from a center space of truthfulness, that gives you the freedom to be who you need to be, and that freedom allows you to love freely and be who you are. And this is what we're all unlocking within ourselves.
Oh, so will that also include music as far as vibration, to move the pitch to a higher frequency versus a lower frequency that they turn music into?
That's a huge topic, actually.
So that'll be used as a key in this upcoming age.
Music's a powerful light code, man, and that's why they don't want conscious messages on the air, because, as I said, humanity are like biological robots. They repeat information. They monkey see, monkey do each other. Repeat and mimic, repeat and mimic. And this is why you see such destructive things on the airwaves.
Right.
But the human spirit got pushed so far into the toxic negative direction that it's just pushing back subconsciously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can
it's like
feel
a rubber band. You can't do it so long.
Right.
And that's what I call us, human beings. We are the living waters. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We're 75% water. So since we're in our mother's womb, we're being bombarded with programming. This programming comes in the form of vibrations. This vibration is our parents fighting and arguing with each other. The radio programming us with commercials and all the news and fear bullshit. Then we come out, boom, it's still bombarding us. So we have like this never-ending war that's brought upon us even before we are out of the womb. And it's a vibrational war. It's a war against creativity and imagination.
Consciousness.
Consciousness. Ah, great, man. On that segment, what I want to do is move us to the library section of this facility, right? And so we can kind of take in all these writers and scholars and draw that energy within us and push it back out into the universe for phase 2. Let's ride.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Now, in this library, we have books, right? Written from people from all over the globe, different races, but it's written by men who wanted to give their take on how they believe knowledge, the shape, the beings of us as humans, how we came here, how things are going to move forward in the future, and their take on history of how things evolved in the past to the present, right? But I do understand that if you want to manipulate, you're not going to get a full truth. Right? You're going to placate it to your position in order for you to have leverage over beings. So you can continue with the system of mind control. And you and I were talking earlier about Mars and Earth, and you was giving a wonderful breakdown of that. And could you please share that with the listening audience?
Sure. I have a different outlook on what all this is. All right. And in nature and the universe, we have a male and female counterpart of everything. Earth is known as Mother Earth. And the counterpart to that would be Mars, as Ares, the god of war. And I believe that white people and Chinese people, Caucasians and Asians, came from Mars. This is a very ancient race, not what you see here today. What you see here today is a devolved version of what came here tens of millions of years ago, hundreds of millions of years ago, because our history is hidden from us. And what happened was, on Mars, you're going to find pyramids and everything like we have on Earth today, but they're on Mars, because those are the minds and technology that brought it here. The original beings that lived on Earth were black people, and black people were not male nor female. They were pure energy, okay? They had the right to manifest anything in a moment's notice. They were right brain creations of this female planet, as the Martians were left brain creations of their male energy planet. And what happened on Mars is they used quantum cybernetic technology, which is nanotechnologies, and they seeded their atmosphere, not like much what they're doing today. And they had to charge this nanoparticles with a high electromagnetic field, because this nanoparticles was the all-enveloping AI system. It was linked to the people of the planet, it was linked to the atmosphere, it was linked to the conscious grid of the planet itself. It was everywhere. And we kind of see what's happening here today with this. But they ended up frying their atmosphere and had about a week to get everyone off the planet and to get to their sister planet Earth. But when they came here, they knew they couldn't just take over, because the original Earthlings, the inhabitants here, would wish them right off the planet. So what happened, it was over time they had to gain their trust, and they kept tricking original humanity to divide itself further and further from itself. And the first thing they had humanity do was divide their pure, balanced male and female energies. And they took the female energy, put it to a primitive, scared avatar, an animalistic avatar, and it did the same thing with the male energy counterpart, okay? And these avatars are primitive. They're based with the reptilian cortex, the fight or flight centers, okay? And for millions of years, humanity went about living, but evolving quicker and quicker. So guess what? They have to institute different manipulation tactics to keep humanity away from their right side of their brain. So they institute language. Because original humanity, we didn't need to talk. We could just feel. I know what you mean. You know what I mean? It's the feeling, the empathy. That's where the true cognitive ability and sentience comes from, is when you can feel. And what they did is they drove humanity far away from their feeling centers. And they instituted language, they instituted math, they instituted all different sorts of left brain psychology to further divide them from themselves. And the whole time this is happening, you see these Martians starting to gain more and more control, more and more power, because humanity's being driven further and further away. But I'm going to fast forward to what we see here today, okay? Elon Musk, Mr. Mars himself, right? Big billionaire. Jeff Bezos, another Martian. All these white people have all this money. And what are they doing? They're destroying the Earth on purpose, and they're trying to rebuild Mars. Guess what? We want to go home. We're going to go back to our planet, but we're going to tear this place up before we go. And you see all of this going on, and nobody's putting any money into Earth or the people. But they're getting ready to terraform Mars and get ready to go back there. But I'm saying everybody is a divine channel in their own right, and everybody knows stuff that no one else knows, and only time can validate all things. And who's to say if I'm right or wrong? But it's what I believe, and it's better than the invisible white man in the clouds judging me.
You're right. Exactly. Sky Daddy.
Sky Daddy.
That's right. But this is the thing, because you just had an oil spill over in California.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is true. People are not putting resources back into the planet. You know. Now, is it possible for, say, a group of, say, 5 people get together and focus on one common cause and bring it into reality?
Yeah. Let me tell you this, and the Martians, the Archons, the whatever you want to call them, they are smart. They understand what reality is. They're master geneticists, and they know energy. Well, I know energy too. And every single living thing that is born of the planet is affected by the planet. So get this. That's why they're attacking Earth, because if you attack the Earth, especially the clean waters of Earth, you attack the living waters that are created from the Earth. Everything is connected. So if you toxify the planet, the waters here, the minds and the spirits of the people that are born of it are going to be toxified as well. But that's why if you can clean up the minds will clean up the planet. If you clean up the planet cleans up the minds. It's a symbiotic relationship that's been being attacked, but it's fighting back now. Because the Earth, it's a living organism. And it fights to live. It has the will to live. And it's waking its children up right now. Its children are waking up, being blind to the deception and lies. They're the ones who are changing. Those are the antibodies that Mother Earth created for herself to save herself. It's a beautiful thing.
That's why we have to support creativity and imagination in our youth, because the people with the strongest imaginations are the ones controlling this planet.
The world.
But right now they're controlling the planet through fear. And when we support creativity and imagination in youth, even if it's through an imaginary friend or painting or poetry or the arts or music of any kind, we're fostering a strong imagination from a young age, and then they can grow up and learn to use the power of that imagination in the mind to change the reality that they're living.
And
It's a powerful weapon.
And I have this one saying that fits what you were asking perfectly. And I say 100,000 heart-centered, focused minds are more powerful than 10 million unconscious minds led to war by fear.
Come on, bro. And when you said the Earth's natural antibodies, then that means you don't need a vaccine.
No, you don't need anything. You need to be fear-free and live your life, and then you are protected. That's what humanity forgot.
I know that's now that gives the answer to the saying, we've been had, we've been run amok, we've been bamboozled.
Yeah.
And didn't even know it. Now, secret societies, right? You hear people talk about the Illuminati and Skull and Bones and whatnot, right? Are they hired by the Martians to do their bidding? Are they a go-between between the people who want to be physically, mentally, and energy-free?
You want to know what? 94% of the people in the so-called Illuminati don't even know they're in the Illuminati. These are fucking pigs. These are shallow people, greedy people that have no foresight. They're just pawns and tools who are manipulated and pushed and psychologically persuaded into certain positions and to do certain things, and they don't even realize it. So these beings don't even show themselves to these people. They laugh at these people. But they do show themselves to certain people that can see, because it's crazy what goes on in the world and what's actually taking part behind the scenes. And like even Leonardo da Vinci said it, that if you told the truth, I can't say it word for word, but it's basically if you tell people the truth of what's going on in the world, either 3 kinds of people will understand when you show them, or already know. And you'll look crazy to the majority of the world because they can't perceive what this entire reality is.
Oh, man.
Gaslighting on massive
Gaslighting
scales.
on a massive scale, man.
Scales.
That's right.
Well, it's gaslighting is spirit cooking. It's mocking the victim. It's ritual mocking. You see that going on right now.
What you said is helping the people gain back their power. And it's critical that we're doing this at this time, you know, at this particular time, and at this age and time, you know, of where we at. Because, you know, you see so many depressed people, suicide rates, because they feel something, but they don't know how to express it, and they think that they're all alone. But when they hear you guys speak on it, they was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking of it. I just couldn't verbalize it the way that I want to." You know, so that would be a thank you. Now, y'all stay tuned because we're gonna do a thing to where we're gonna take you from the tunnel into the light, and you're gonna walk with us to free yourself. And this is just a process that's going to help you free yourself internally so you can open up your vision and you can see the world and the universe. We'll be back.
To be a fourth dimensional being means you have to be able to observe space and time. And the tree is a fourth dimensional being because it is governed by the rising and setting of the sun, of the seasons. This is time, space.
Right.
And to be a fifth dimensional consciousness means to question a creator outside of yourself. Okay. And this is why we live in a fifth dimensional matrix. It's the battle of gods and devils, the battle of light versus dark, the battle of gods and devils. It's
good and evil,
good and
outside
evil
of yourself.
outside of yourself.
Okay.
And that's where we're stuck at within the conscious evolutionary step of mankind. And they have to realize there's no battle outside of themselves. The only battle of good and evil goes on within man's own mind.
So we out in nature though, right?
Yeah.
And so how do you connect and use the power of nature?
How do we connect and use the power of nature?
Right.
You have to understand you are nature, okay? You are earth, wind, fire, water, and ether. Okay? Your body is the earth. Your blood is the water. Your breath is the air, the breath of life. Okay? Your mind, your electrical system, your nervous system, that's the ether. That's what the ether is. It's electric. We are part of an electric universe. We are conscious beings of an electrical universe. The thing that creates all of this is electro-consciousness.
Okay. So when they say as above, so below, that means that, so what we create, does that mean that what we create above in our thoughts, we create it on the planet?
Yeah.
Or does that mean that what's going on in the universe, we're tapped into and we pull on that universal energy to produce what's down here on the planet?
It means all of that and then some. As above, so below means as the heavens are governed, so are your atoms, down to your energetic quantum self. It's a reflection. As above, so below. As within, so without. This means as without in nature, as nature grows, as you grow. You are the same as nature. And the last part of it is as the universe, so the soul. And this is the part I was telling you about with the conscious flows and tides of the universe, how it reflects within the mind of man. Because the universe is mental, and so are we.
It's so much more than that too, though, because your physical body and your physical avatar is an actual projection of your emotions and your spirit.
It is.
So if your emotions are sick, if your spirit's sick, your body's going to be sick. So this is where we get into the power of the mind and the ability to create a healthy body, a healthy avatar, and a healthy life, and the ability of our mind and our spirit to actually heal ourselves of our physical ailments as well.
So now we out in nature, right? Now, what about this 5G? I'm hearing so many people saying, it's making you sick, it's hurting your immune system. Is that so?
Well, you have to understand this. All living creatures evolve according to their, what do we call this? Ecosystem. All biological creatures evolve according to their ecosystem. You evolve or you die. And what has happened here on this planet is we have increased technology. This increased technology has different kinds of radio waves and frequencies that affect the human avatar. Okay? But understand, not all is lost, because as some people get sick, other people build immunity to this. And it's always going to be fine, you know what I mean?
Right.
And we can combat 5G or any other outside vibratory disturbance by unlocking our inner power, our source power, and vibrating higher from the inside out than what's bombarding us from the outside in.
Did you know that science has proven that humans have the same chemical component that we found in stars? So we are actually made of stardust. We come from the stars, we are the universe. And so we have the ability to evolve ourselves and our physical avatar into something so much more powerful than we could possibly, than most people would possibly.
It's a choice.
Oh, that is excellent. Now we're getting ready to take you all from the tunnel into the light. Stay tuned.
Ah, man.
And it's cool, yeah, it's cool. It is awesome.
A lot of people are talking about today, right, is the chakras, from your root chakra to your crown chakra. Now, is that something that would give power to the individual today? Or is that something that the elite has tapped into and we're always trying to find ways to diminish the power of chakra?
It's just like religion. It's a necessary evil that we have to evolve out of now, because religion was given to primitive man to keep them from not being animals, okay? They needed some kind of moral code because they weren't around long enough to just do it themselves, okay? They have the, like I said, reptilian cortex, fight or flight center. So this will make you do some pretty shady shit because your mind, it runs away with you in fear if you don't control it. So this is where religion came in, to teach people to be good. But over time, man manipulated this to gain control and power for themselves. Okay? In comes the chakra system. The chakra system was given to the primitive human avatar in order to allow us to process emotion, okay? There's so many different frames of emotion that we need different levels to process it. Now, all this ancient stuff that helped primitive man is hurting modern man, okay? We are modern people following primitive rituals that are destroying us and making us sick. It's time for us to evolve out of it. And the chakra system is no better than religion, because the chakra system has you ask for energy from outside of yourself to have it come into you, okay? And this is the same thing with religion. It's asking a savior to come save you and fix your life. Your mind is God. It is housed in the temples, okay? This is where your God lies. This is where the energy lies. And this is where the chakra system is going. Like everything on the planet, it's becoming a smart planet. Your phone is a smart phone, and your TV has become a smart TV. This energy system is becoming a smart energy system. This means it's not going to allow emotions to control it. Because this is what you see, the number one problem with empaths nowadays. They can't handle their emotion. I can't go to Walmart, it's so crowded, the emotions, the people. Empathy,
Energy's the chakra.
exactly.
They fix it.
Empathy is supposed to be a strength. It's supposed to allow you to feel the pain and suffering from those in the world and all around you, so you know what to do to fix it. So what you know what to do to alleviate, not so you're buried by it. And this is like what Tracy and myself teach. This is what we teach.
If I may, about the chakras too, is that I would like to ask people who are using the chakras to consider this, right? Let's start with the root chakra. You're supposed to be grounded. So the implication is that the chakra is a container for this external energy from the universal life force or from whatever. So the implication is, I can't ground myself. Let me ask for help from something outside myself to make me feel grounded, right? We can move to the solar plexus chakra, which represents power. I feel despair, I feel hopelessness. Let me open myself to some external energy to fix me because I cannot give myself power, right? I don't feel love, I feel fear in my heart. My heart chakra is tugging on me. I can't give myself love. Let me open my chakra and give something outside of me. Even we move to the third eye, which represents intuition. I'm not intuitive. Let me just empower my third eye and my intuition from something outside of myself. So you see the chakra system is also playing a part in dividing humanity, separating humanity, I should say, from its innate divine power.
It's a version of savior worship.
And we all have this power embedded deep inside of us, and you can learn to activate it, you can learn to cultivate it, and grow it, and use it for anything that you want. Manifestation, healing, happiness, abundance.
And that's what reality is. Everything you see, all matter is just light. This light is an electromagnetic field, and what you feel is electromagnetic fields pushing on each other, different forms and levels of light, okay? This light is intelligent, and this light, when it spread itself, it fractalized consciousness and created you, me, we, us, them. And this makes us, allow us to experience reality subjectively, while the great intelligence experiences itself through our eyes and actions upon ourselves and each other.
And I want to add one more thing to that too. And so one other thing we like to talk about is that every single thing in all the universe, we can observe a toroidal field around it. It's an energetic field. But human beings over time, through the use of the chakra system and religion, have reversed their flow of energy from where it's supposed to be, starting from the inside and out, becoming a generator. We've become extremely vampiric in nature. We become a vacuum. We take, fear. So when we push aside the chakra system and learn to activate the inner power, we reconnect with that essence of ourselves that's a generator, that's a creator, as opposed to become a vampiric vacuum like we've been programmed to become.
Well, how do our diet play a part in this? What we take in, foods we eat.
It's a lot, because what humanity has been taught to do is find comfort in food. And if you look at through any religious story, any culture around the world, they have stories about fasting. Fasting is the key, because once you can control what you eat, you can control your mind on all levels, because guess what? There's not that much evil in the universe. Most of the stuff in the universe that we call evil is just hungry. And being on the wrong side of something's hunger looks very evil. Even man's greed is just hunger. Man's lust is hunger. It's just hunger. And once you can control your physical hunger, you control your spiritual and emotional hunger.
Well, sugar is the biggest poison on this planet.
And it's the biggest drug. It's the worst drug on this planet. Processed sugar. It was made under lock. It was made with by government scientists, armed guards behind a locked door, and they were making it for this exact purpose: to keep people addicted and coming back and destroying themselves. This whole world set up for you to pay out of pocket to kill yourself.
Now superstition,
Yes.
and numerology. I noticed you all had the 13 on it. And I heard so many stories about the number 13 as taboo. There will not be a 13th floor button you push on any elevator. What is up with the number 13?
Well, the number 13 for me has always been a good omen. And like most things that if the church or other people in your world tell you is bad to run away from, it's usually got some good magic in it, so run towards it.
Right.
And to me, 13's just always been a lucky number. It's something that's always been there with me. And I believe that there's 13 dimensions. Science can prove 11 dimensions now, but there's two other dimensions they will be able to prove, is that the 12th dimension is the space of creation. Anything after the 12th dimension, which is 11, 10, blah, blah, down to 3D, is the created space. And above the creation space, which is the 12th dimension, is the observer, the great intelligence, the electro-consciousness that electromagnetically created reality itself.
The singularity.
The
oneness.
singularity, the point of light.
So area 1358, the dragon family. What does it represent?
So, Dragons is actually an acronym, and it stands for Dreamers Realizing and Activating Goals of New Earth Spirit. And we are ambassadors of what we refer to as a New Earth vibration.
Okay.
And we're seeking to spread this vibration of truth, freedom, love, happiness, joy, abundance all around the world to our students and clients and people that we interact with on a daily basis.
And as you can see, we have a pyramid that's upside down. It's the opposite of what we see on the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill and what we know the Illuminati teach. And this is because the upside-down pyramid represents knowledge for all. As in the Illuminati, it shows the capstone separated from the pyramid as hoarding this knowledge. When this knowledge is given to the people, and this is what's coming back to New Earth, it's disclosure of information.
So the serpent wasn't necessarily evil. I'm learning that the Pharaoh had the serpent, the Druid serpent.
Yeah.
Imhotep, the serpent.
representation of transformation, of healing, like a snake that sheds its skin, it becomes something newer and powerful and more healed. So it represents transformation. And if you look into ancient symbols of healing and medicine, you see everywhere that the snake is a symbol of medicine and healing.
Even on ambulance, you'll see the snake.
And also it goes to the Kundalini, and this is what they used to feel with the energy going up their spine. They have tales of Jacob's ladder, climbing the 32 steps. This is about activating your inner source energy and allow it to climb your circuit, your electrical system, to resonate to your antenna, which is your third eye. This is the eye of God that connects into the field of reality, and you can view past, present, future, and any simultaneous thing that could possibly happen from this point.
Now, can we actually obtain or tap into our Akashic records, or do you have to be in a certain state of being in order to tap into the Akashic records?
Well, this is what a part we were talking about before, about like the evolution of the chakras. Well, the Akashic records is another version of seeking information outside of yourself. What do you got to do to access the records? Talk to records keepers. These records keepers come back with distorted information, usually containing Jesus or some angels or some other light fighters to keep you in that outside battle of light and darkness. But the truth is that I channeled that we have the thing called the Xenogene records. And the Xenogene records is our actual DNA. Our DNA is created of space and time, of past, present, future, and every possible event yet to happen, happening simultaneously. We are this space-time information field, and all we have to do to access it is step into the mirror of ourself, step inward, and access our own DNA, trusting our intuition and the information that comes. There's no record keepers needed.
And simply put, you can actually step into yourself, and because we are connected to everything, you're going to perceive the information that is most closely connected to what's relevant to you, because you're stepping into yourself through an infinite connection.
And your mind knows what you need to hear and see. You just have to trust it.
And to answer your question, yes, anybody can learn to do this. And that's one of the many things that we teach.
Right, so now we're walking, right? Now, how do people contact you guys or give out your information where they can go and research your work?
So I want to give out our business phone number to anyone who wants to contact us directly. And that business phone number is 346-333-1358. And you can text that number, you can call that number. You can also contact either myself or Jared Sullivan through our personal Facebook pages. And this is how we do a lot of networking and contact. And he is the Mind Awakener, at Mind Awakener, and I am at Freedom Architect. And you can also look up Mind Awakener Jared Sullivan or Freedom Architect Tracy Lee. And
Look for the hair.
Look for the hair.
Look for the hair.
So both of us are very responsive to our Facebook messages, to our Messenger, to our Facebooks, and I also manage that 346 phone number.
Man, I appreciate the time, man. I appreciate
Thank you so much.
And the wealth of knowledge that you gave to the listening audience is something to grow on, and it gives us a foundation to build upon and continue to study and learn. Thank you. Hey, it was wonderful, and we're out, and make sure you all touch base, go research, check out the Facebook page. If you have any questions, call them, and they'll be right on the case. Modern day, it don't stop. You.